Why was this 2-month-old baby so tiny? His mother returned to working in the field a week after giving birth? That grandmother is feeding that tiny baby cow's milk from a bottle covered with flies. These thoughts and many more ran through my mind. I was standing in a mud hut in Matiari, a rural village in Pakistan. It was hot and I was confused. I was there as part of a project in which we were studying why children remain small regardless of the amount of nutrition intervention you gave them. But what I was seeing in real time in these villages in front of me was very different from what we had been thinking of in terms of the study from an academic perspective. Before I go into that, I want to tell you who I am. I am Syed. I'm a pediatric gastroenterologist. I work at the University of Virginia where I'm an associate professor, and I also have an adjunct research appointment at the Aga Khan University in Pakistan, a country where I spent the first 2 decades of my life growing up. My passion for global health comes from wanting to spend a life in public service, focusing on the health of women and children in the context of undernutrition. My interest in all of this comes from 2 women in my life. First, my grandmother, my father's mother. She was a young woman in her teens when she was married off in rural India. There was a lack of money because my grandfather had dropped out of medical school because he wanted to do big things, contribute to society, which he was doing as a school teacher, but there was no money because teachers don't get paid well. So my grandmother used to stitch clothes on the side, amongst other things. And eventually they realized that she was smart and she could be another wage earner for the family. She started her education, eventually went all the way through medical school and became a doctor. She had 3 sons, 5 daughters. They all became doctors, got married to doctors, and over the course of the last 40 to 50 years have made real impact in the lives of hundreds of thousands of Pakistanis. One of the doctors who married into that family was my mother. My mother lost her parents when she was very young and then was adopted by her grandparents. During the partition between Bangladesh and Pakistan, her grandfather went missing. But she persisted. Despite all that loss, she went on and became a doctor and eventually got married to my father. Growing up, I saw firsthand the value of education. I saw the value of investing in women. I saw truly how when you lift women up, you lift everyone up. And I wanted to be part of that when I grew up. So back to that mud hut. I'd become part of a team studying undernutrition, where the larger context was that regardless of the cause of death in children under the age of 5 globally, whether they were dying of pneumonia or sepsis or meningitis, etc., 45% of those deaths were due to undernutrition. It should have been an easy problem to solve, right? Give those children enough food. But in studies where children were given enough food and were followed longitudinally, they still didn't grow. Our team was studying whether the poor growth of these children was due to inflammation in their gut. I then spent the next 6 years as part of this team studying the gut of those children. We used genomics and cutting-edge machine learning tools to better understand the molecular basis of that undernutrition. And then a year ago, as I was embarking on this WomenLift journey, I was really wrestling with myself because we were no closer to the answer of how to solve and treat this nutrition problem with inflammation in the gut. And I felt that we had gotten much further away from our client, from the mothers and the children I wanted to serve. How much did we know of what the mothers of the children thought? What about that woman in the field that day when I was in that mud hut in Matiari? What were the challenges they were facing in their daily lives? And how did those perspectives factor into the sort of guidelines large policy-making bodies issued? And that is how this project came together. We proposed to do qualitative surveys of mothers in the community, other working women, and leaders of thought. We seek to understand the perspective of women living in the local community in Pakistan to explore their perceptions about nutrition, breastfeeding, formula feeding, and why they choose either of these options for their children. Over the last year, I've learned so much from the WomenLift journey. I've learned to better understand myself and my values, those of family, purposeful work, beauty, and justice. To know that my goal is to inspire and work for other people. So I need to create tools to inspire and empower those I wish to serve. And to know and choose when to fight the good fight and when to conserve my energy. I want to end with an Urdu poem that's near and dear to my heart. It talks about how we are all trapped in time, but that there are these precious moments when you are free. For me, the WomenLift journey was one of those moments. वक्त की कैद में जिंदगी है मगर चंद घड़ियाँ यही है जो आज़ाद है। चंद घड़ियाँ यही है जो आज़ाद है। इनको खो कर मेरी जाने जा उम्र भर ना तरसते रहो। आज जाने की जिद ना करो। Thank you.